Commander, I have a message for you. It is from a priest at the Temple of Talos in Windhelm. He said it was important. Here it is, Commander.
Commander, I would like to congratulate you on your victory at Anga's Mill. My friends and I were most impressed. It was quite a show. We would have pitched in to help, but these days discretion has become a survival trait for our group. If you do not mind the company of outlaws, I would like to speak to you about our Thalmor friends. If you are interested, talk to the priest at the Temple of Talos in Windhelm.
Greetings, Commander. How may the Nine help you? Yes, Commander. Or do I call you Dragonborn? Straight down to business, I like that. I represent a group of law-abiding citizens of the Empire that found themselves outlawed at the end of the last Great War. We became aware of a Thalmor plot to kill you at Anga's Mill. And we were going to intervene, but, well, you know the rest. Yes, indeed. The peasants always were revolting, but we followed these peasants back to Helgen. Funny thing about those revolting peasants, they turned out to be Pentius Acalatus, carrying out an ambush against the Thalmor. Indeed, but I am not exactly unprotected. So, let me introduce you to some of my friends. Yes, friend, your enemies are our enemies. Once the Pentius Acalatus revealed their true mission to us, it was decided to arrange a meeting between us so we might cooperate in this endeavor. We had a little priory in the south of Cyrodiil. It was one of the first places the Thalmor attacked when they invaded during the Great War. When the Empire declared Talos worship illegal, we became outlaws rather than give up our faith. You know your history, good. It also makes us a highly trained military order outside of the direct control of the Empire. An order that is already at war with the Thalmor. We can confront the Thalmor at any time, in any place without drawing attention to the Pentius Acalatus. Yes, the knights were undecided as to the true intentions of the Empire until they saw the agents of the Emperor attacking the Thalmor. Now we know. We are willing to work with the Empire as needed. I am the Divine Crusader, turned priest of the Nine. After the Thalmor destroyed our priory, the knights scattered, and the divine relics they protected were lost for decades. The order disappeared until one day a priest turned up in Anvil, asking for worthy people to join him in a quest. He stood in the same spot as a priest of the Nine did during the Oblivion Crisis, and spoke the same words, asking for worthy people to join him. Yes, that is what I thought, but he convinced me to join him. His quest was to recover the lost artifacts of the Divine Crusader, relics lost during the Great War. Yes, together we re-established the Knights of the Nine and have been fighting the Thalmor all over the Empire. The old priest died years ago, and I have assumed his role as mentor for the Order. For an unbeliever, it might look that way, but consider this. Where did the original priest of the Nine come from 200 years ago? More interestingly, what happened to him afterwards? part of the mystery of the Nine is the sudden appearance of a priest of the Nine during a time of crisis. Yes, usually when the Order has dispersed and is needed again, gathering the relics of the Divine Crusader is merely a test of faith. Before I answer, tell me, Commander, did you know the Septums, Raymonds, and Elysians were totally unrelated, yet they all shared the dragon blood? I just wondered if you had considered that point. To answer your first question, the old priest told me that the Order would play a vital role in restoring a fallen empire. He foretold the rise of a strong emperor who would go on to defeat the Thalmor. We have been searching for this person. Yes, I think so. You report back to Mr. Smith and tell him of his new allies. We will be here if you need us.
Greetings, Governor. The Knights of the Nine are back. Interesting. This will serve us well. We can hunt them publicly and give them vital missions privately. The perfect agents to use against the Thalmor. Tell me, Commander, do you know why they asked you about the old Dragon Emperors? So you are aware of your bloodline then? What the priest said was correct. Elysia, Remen and the Septim dynasties were all unrelated, yet they all had the divine blood of Akatosh. The dragon blood they all possessed marked them as chosen by Akatosh himself. Whilst the dragon blood alone did not make them emperors or found empires, the fact that they were chosen certainly made it easier to do. Yes, as do all Dragonborn. We don't know if any existed before Elysia, but we know the ones that existed after Elysia. They were the rightful owners of the Storm Crown, which is the Greybeard's way of referring to the Imperial throne. I never said that. I said the Nine believe it. The gods work in mysterious ways. A priest that appears to re-establish an ancient order of knights when the Empire needs them the most. It sounds like something the elves would blame on the trickster. I'm no expert. You should probably have asked the priest, but the trickster is Lorcan. Priests believe Lorcan vanished whilst creating the world. Some believe he is the very heart of Nairn. Interestingly, he is also known as Shaw here in Skyrim. Indeed.
Indeed I have not. Indeed we are trapped. Indeed.
Perhaps you should ask around, find out more about this. In the meantime, I'll see what use we can put these knights to.
Blessings of the Eight Divines upon you. How may I help?
May knowledge of your divinity carry us through our daily trials.
Huh?
Lorcan is a limitation. In creating Nairn, he destroyed or transformed the existing gods into the ones the world knows today. Each god's powers became limited. The Daedra laughed at the gods for giving up their power and created their own realms. The elves believe they were cast out of heaven by this act and have called Lorcan the trickster ever since, hating him for what he had done. Some say Lorcan's heart is Nairn itself and cannot be destroyed without destroying Nairn. The moons above Nairn are his flesh. He sees all. Others call him the missing god. Some believe he cannot stay long in any one place due to the transformation he went through when creating Nairn. Another story tells of Lorcan leading armies of men against the elves a long time ago. He is defeated by the elves, who rip out his heart, but find they cannot destroy it, for Lorcan's heart is the heart of Nirn. So they hide it, so men may never find their god's heart, or use it against them. It is after these ancient events we start hearing about aspects of Lorcan appearing under different names to fight on the side of men. Names Lorcan has been associated with include Shizar, who is venerated in the Colovian West for helping fight the Aelids. Pelinal Whitestrake, also known as the Divine Crusader, also helped Alessia in the rebellion against the Aelids. It is almost certain that the Knights of the Nine you spoke of would have known this. In Skyrim, under Nordic culture, Lorcan is known as Shor. In Cyrodiil, he is called Shizar, and in Morrowind, Lorcan. Roughly 250 years after the Alessian rebellion against the Aelids, Wulfarth restored the traditional Nordic pantheon. After defeating the Alessian army at Glenumbria Moors in First Era 500, the old edicts were outlawed, their priests put to the stake. Wulfarth earned the name Shor's Tongue, and Ysmir, Dragon of the North, for this act. This is the time we hear the name Ysmir. Later, Wulfarth pleaded with Shor, the dead chieftain of the gods, to help when Orki sends Alduin to eat the Nords years away. Shor battled Alduin on the spirit plane and won. Wulfarth learned a new Thuum, which he used to restore his people's ages. But the effort aged him, and he died. Yet we know from this story, King Wulfarth was able to master a new Thuum quickly, which means King Wulfarth must have been Dragonborn too. Centuries later, Skyrim is under threat by the dwarves once again, when Dagoth tells the Nords he knows where the Heart of Shor can be found. The Heart of Shor was in Resdain, as Dagoth had promised.
Look, we got off on the wrong foot. Together we shall speak for the law and the land, and shall drive the mongrel lizards of the Empire, dogs. I meant dogs. Look, I'm sorry, I just really expected a Dunmer. What? Why? Because you were a Dunmer the last 8 fucking times.
Though in Resdain they call it the Heart of Lorcan. The Tongues sung Shor's ghost into the world again. Shor gathered an army as he did of old. Then he sucked in the long-strewn ashes of King Wulfarth and remade him, for he needed a good general. Indeed, but in battle at Red Mountain, the Nerevar, Dumak Dwarf King, and Alandro Sul met Lorcan in battle and defeated him. Lorcan's heart was made solid by the blow from Nerevar's weapon Sunder, and cut out by his other weapon Keening. The Nords were defeated, and Wulfarth, the Ash King, who was unable to maintain his form without Shor's help, was blown back to Skyrim. Jurgen Windcaller blamed the defeat on the abuse of the voice, and started teaching Nords the way of the voice. Yes, centuries later, Wulfarth the Ash King is awoken once again by the rumblings of the Greybeards. Though the Empire had crumbled, there were rumours that a Chosen One would come to restore it. This new Emperor would defeat the Elves and rule a united Tamriel, but Wulfarth was not the Chosen One. Wulfarth, also known as Ysmir, Dragon of the North, had been replaced by a new Chosen One. Kulkane, the king of Falkreath, was at war. History refers to him as Emperor Zero. Hjalti Earlybeard was his general. At the siege of Old Herolden one night, a storm came and visited Hjalti's camp. It spoke with him in his tent. At dawn, Hjalti went up to the gates, and the storm followed just above his head. Arrows could not penetrate the winds around him. He shouted down the walls of Old Herolden, and his men poured in. Yes, Old Herolden, which you may know as Sancretor, was the old seat of the Remnant dynasty. After his victory, the Nords called Hjalti Earlybeard Hjalti Talos, or Stormcrown, a name you now hold. Then, Coolcane was assassinated by Talos and made to look like Coolcane enemies had done it. Then, Talos adopted the name Tiber Septim and founded the Septim dynasty. Wulfarth the Ash King appeared to Tiber as the Underking to help him with his campaign and hoped to get Tiber to attack Morrowind. But when Tiber struck a deal with the Tribunal, the Underking felt betrayed and turned back to Ash. Tiber Septim became the new Ysmir Dragon of the North, and Wulfarth disappeared. When the Greybeards named you Ysmir Dragon of the North, they did so knowing what that meant. Tiber Septim battled the elves. King Wulfarth battled the elves. Both were Ysmir. Now we have a new threat, the Thalmor. More trouble from the elves, and here you are, Ysmir Dragon of the North, right on time for a new war. The Greybeard named you the heir to the Storm Crown, but as you now know, the Storm Crown was a person's name. In this case, they meant you are the heir of Talos, who wore a storm as a crown in battle. Yes, he was, and you are the heir of Tiber Septim, according to the Greybeards.
Long has the Storm Crown languished, with no worthy brow to sit upon. By our breath we bestow it now to you, in the name of Kine, in the name of Shore, and in the name of Atmora of old. You are Ysmir now, the Dragon of the North. Hearken to it.
They fear you will abuse the voice, as Wulfarth once did. It spelt disaster for the Nords. I would guess their goal this time is to put you on the right path to victory. By calling you Ysmir, Dragon of the North, the Greybeards send a message that raises certain expectations of you. First, you are the right hand of Shor himself, most hated amongst the elves. Second, people will expect you to fight the Thalmor and drive them from our lands. The Storm Crown refers to Tiber Septim and the storm that crowned him during the Battle of Old Heraldon. But, since Talos' own name means Storm Crown, it also means you are his true heir. Here, take these books about Lorkhan and his aspects. You may find them interesting.
Until next time. Let us walk in the steps of the divines.